you very much, Jordan. We will head into border here. We do believe this map will favour Nora Rengo, but Fnatic are really on fire at the moment, so we'll see how they go up against Nora on this map. We will see the ban phase starting here with Fnatic on the first attack ban. It has been locked in, and we will find out what their ban is. It is a Nomad. That's not too big of a surprise.
We've seen so much Nomad banned out, you know, from it, not just from Fnatic, but in Fnatic matches. So obviously, Nora banned that last map, and in the maps against Aerowolf, Fnatic weren't too keen to see it either. But you know, here on border, it can be incredibly effective, especially at preventing those runouts. So nonetheless, Nora Rengo aren't keen to play against any Yings. So I do wonder a little bit whether that's going to pair with a Jaeger ban. Look, I might be wrong, but I'm just going to go out on a limb. No, okay, never mind. Nora Rengo don't want to play against Echo, but anyway.
They really don't, do they?
No, they really don't. They never like it. So anyhow, we've seen Ying and Jaeger bans together. Just it's a way that you can still leverage your grenades if you want to use them, but not have to worry about those Yings. But you know, nonetheless, Nora Rengo with that Ying off the table will allow them to play in these key positions, potentially without a Jaeger, a little bit more safely, especially if they continue doing the kind of hard security holes that they've done in the past.
Yeah, and I like the Maestro ban coming out of Fnatic there. I believe it's Rachel that usually plays the Maestro on some of these bomb sites for Nora Rengo, and he's had some pretty strong performances on it as well. So that will really take away not just the strong performance of that player, but also the utility of that Maestro. So there's Evil Eye is being cut out.
Especially in the context of a map where you don't have the Echo either. So, you know, Echo Maestro, there's a lot of overlap there. And in particular on this map, I think the Maestro and the Mirror actually have a lot of overlap. So in this case, you know, because there is no Maestro on the board, when eventually we do get to the Nora Rengo defense, I really think we'll see a lot more of that Mirror than we would typically see out of them. Whereas with Fnatic starting on defense, you know, they love that Mirror. While they don't have the Maestro, which obviously Aces is comfortable, or the Echo, which they've used in the past, they will leverage that Mirror, and I think that'll be a big cornerstone of the information gathering alongside Magnet's, you know, tried and favorite, the Valkyrie.
Yeah, and speaking of Fnatic on defense, they have taken the top floor bomb site as their first, which is very, very common for this map. We just see a very great gaggle of operators here from Fnatic. They've got the Mirror with Lusty, Rizraz on the Frost, and Aces on the Kaed. It's a very different lineup than you'd normally see for this bomb site.
Hello, Xavier?
Yeah.
Bit of a Xavier-esque kind of set of operator picks, but you know, looking at this Kaid, obviously the main, I think, strength of this Kaid is obviously not bandit tricking, but you know, electric tricking, Kaid tricking these mirror windows compared against Hibana pellets. But in this case, you know, Nora not bringing that Hibana, so I feel like this Thermite, if there's any walls, you know, large walls that the mirror windows are on, that Thermite's not really useful anyway, so perhaps the Kaid not going to be as specifically effective against that. But nonetheless, obviously that Frost can potentially catch the defenders off, sorry, the attackers off guard as they enter into areas such as offices or potentially even the security room.
And as you speak of security, I believe Fnatic are trying to hold security quite aggressively. It looks like, whoa, Aces!
They wall bang.
That's got to be a call out from a Valkyrie cam right there. That's a beautiful shot regardless. Well played by Aces and Fnatic, and that's going to leave Nora Rengo reeling and wondering what just happened. They have opened the triple wall now with the Thermite breach charge. They will try to take from this office side towards Archives. They're just choosing to ignore that roam that's on the security side of Fnatic, and Rizraz has ran back to Armory as well as Virtue. They will close off this Armory door and leave Aces by himself in his security position. He has a very strong line of sight there into the offices with that shotgun at the ACOG. It's a really great strat here from Fnatic, and as we say, Mirio has been caught in a frost mat. He's going to be on low HP now, and that's going to really hinder... Oh my lord! Lusty. That's going to hinder him a lot, because now he's got 0, and it's 2v5 in favor of Fnatic. This is an excellent defense coming out of them, and Nora Rengo, what are they going to do?
Not much at the moment. In fact, if JJ jumps up onto this AC balcony, as he does, he's exposed to a lot of positions from inside the bomb site. Virtue cleans that one up. Just Ramu left. It's only a 1 versus 5, so, you know, totally doable. But, you know, Ramu's pretty good. I think that the defenders clearly know his position. You know, they have so much going for them, and Aces will close that one out. A good round through and through on the defense from Fnatic.
And that is just the inform Fnatic then, unafraid of anything. And Aces went absolutely nuts on that round. Some excellent shots and some beautiful team play from Fnatic. They've started this map as strong as you'd hope if you're a Fnatic. And this is a difficult position for Nora to push against.
I think the real linchpin for me of that defense was the information. Everything down to that first peek, you know, through the wall. Clearly, these Valkyrie cameras are yielding huge amounts of information for the defense. And I really would like to see an IQ picked from the Nora Rengo side. And come on, that's a 6 pick to an IQ. Nope, all right. Thatcher instead. Look, I'm not a fan. I really think we need to counter some of this information if you want Nora Rengo to keep getting these defenses.
Yeah, they do need to start countering this information, and Magnet will be bringing the Valkyrie again. We do see Aces sustain that Kaid pick as well, so that's quite strong for him. Virtue has gone to the Legion, so no ADSs this time. That could favor Nora Rengo a little bit if they wish to push side or put a lot of pressure on the side with those grenades and stuns, but they're going to have to do a lot more than that because it looks like Fnatic might have quite a solid roam upstairs.
Yeah, and they also have these mirror windows, of course, which they can use to hold upstairs. In fact, it's, you know, most of the time you might see only an armory hold upstairs on this defensive bomb site, but no, in fact, it looks like the full-on archives hold, plenty of reinforcements invested upstairs, even some holes looking towards the armory bomb site, not bomb site, the armory room as well, from inside of archives. And you know, this ability upstairs means that that verticality can really be leveraged to deny plant in a variety of locations in that quite large workshop bomb site.
Yeah, that's right, and here we see Rizraz making even more holes. There's so many holes made to the bomb site below that it really means Nora can't ignore this roam, and it's such a strong roam. It's almost like you're exactly attacking this top floor bomb site, which in itself isn't easy. So Nora Rengo are going to have to really make the call here whether they're going to try and commit to taking this, which it looks like they are. They've got quite a few players here up on the east stairs and the east balcony. And Ramu, nice early pick onto Lusty. That's the mirror down already. Must have been caught off guard there. Nice job. And now Nora Rengo really starting to surround the armory. Some pre-firing through that wall just goes over the head of the player in armory. A good start here from Nora.
Yeah, they do have that initial pick. However, you know, they haven't taken a ton of ground yet. Security control is good for Nora Rengo, but as we can see from those cameras, Fnatic have still stacks of information at their ability. And, well, Rizraz still playing inside of the archives. He's likely to receive some pressure shortly in the form of Thermite attempting to open up that archives wall. But, of course, on the other side of that, Rizraz has his C4 available. He can toss just over the top. JJ attempts to help out, but he's been injured likely by Virtue. And an impact grenade trying to secure that kill, but nothing as of yet. JJ's likely to just chill out over there for a little while. And okay, that Virtue really wants that kill.
He's trying everything he can to secure it, but he can't at this stage. But it's a very difficult spot for Nora Rengo to be able to revive him. Some shots coming out from that east balcony. And Rachel will secure on Rizraz and Ramu onto Aces. There is one down for Nora. It is still JJ, so it's essentially a 4v2 at this stage. Rachel and Ramu both tagged quite low. Virtue did manage to sustain some shots. Virtue actually getting the frag on Papilia now, so pretty even attack here for Nora Rengo. Less than a minute to go. Magnet's in a nice roam position that perhaps Nora aren't aware of. Virtue will drop back. And we're going to have to start seeing this execute coming out of Nora Rengo if they wish to get this plant down. JJ did eventually get revived, it looks like, but Rachel is down in the same point, probably to that goo mine that Virtue put there. Yeah. So a lot of time burnt to revive these players. And Virtue, he will finally kill that Rachel. So now it's a 3v2, 30 seconds to go. Great shot from Mirio with the G3. And now it's Magnet all by himself in a clutch position. We know he can clutch. We've seen him do it before. He's going to use his C4, but to no avail. It actually hits the bar, so not even a hole through the wall. There's a player on the metal stairs that he does hear, and he will get the frag on the Magnet. So that is a nice round to Nora Rengo.
1-1 now is Nora Rengo step back after what looked like a potentially grim start to the round. Some good recollection of their composure, and they do manage to take down Fnatic on the workshop bomb site. Now Fnatic will have to choose. Do they reattempt that exact same bomb site, or is it about time to switch it up? Whereas, you know, Nora Rengo will also have to take into account whether Fnatic will decide to attempt one of the tertiary bomb sites. But it looks like it's just a reattempt of Vents. The thing that worked really well from my point of view for Fnatic was the Legion play, just Virtue in particular. His positioning and his knowledge and aggression was always really on point. and his use of utility was also constantly stalling out the attackers. But that said, there wasn't enough else upstairs for Fnatic to really make it happen. I think that if Lusty isn't picked off as early, that'll certainly help with that top floor hold.
For sure, Virtue did hold that very well, and yeah, that pick from Lusty, or onto Lusty, I should say, really helped Nora Rengo early. That is a strong round as well for Nora Rengo, because they were absolutely max on that first round, so that's a really good way to stunt the momentum immediately for Fnatic. We will have to see what adaptations Fnatic make here. It looks like they will still go with this heavy hold upstairs just to slow down the attack of Nora Rengo, so it's just a matter of how Fnatic adapts to the way that Nora Rengo tried to take it.
Yeah, the adaptation's going to make a huge difference, but you know, for Fnatic this time around, you know, they're just still hammering away with, you know, very similar things. Rizraz obviously changing up onto the Bandit, which is great, but we are missing a few things from Nora Rengo to deal with the information game. I do really think that the IQ is it would have been a good pick, but I think that they just don't see it as useful enough to get rid of any of these other operators. I mean, let's say we talk about the Ashe, which most people would say is the obvious choice to get rid of. Meriu is just such a good Ashe player. I mean, he was, at least. I think he's still doing pretty well. In the previous round, we saw him rack up a few, but I think that Nora Rengo just feel like they can't afford an IQ.
Yeah, and let's be real, like the lineup they're bringing is still quite a strong, versatile lineup, but these Valkyrie cans from Magnet are providing a lot of strong intel, and yeah, I do believe that if they can nullify that earlier than they have been, then they definitely could be doing these attacks a little stronger. We're seeing a lot of the presence coming here from the east side. This Buck will rappel up to the roof and potentially use the Vault Run to the AC. Magnet with a pre-root C4, but deciding not to throw that out at this stage. Looks like Nora Rengo will opt to push from the office side into Archives, and that's towards a mirror that Lusty is holding, I do believe. So they're going to have to really figure out how to flush that mirror out of there. They could use the Hibana charges, but that is some utility that they will have to force up. Magnet will use a C4, but it hits nothing. And we're almost halfway through this round. Nora Rengo much more stalled out than last time.
They've made, you know, some... I feel like they're poised, but they just haven't struck yet. And that's really the thing that we need to see come up. It's the next step in the process. Start actually solidifying your control of some of these areas. Take control of the Archives. That's the next real step we need to see, but it's not happening as of yet. And one of the hard breaches goes down. That's Ramu, but a really good bandit trick from Rizraz.
A great bandit trick from Rizraz.
And, you know, there's nothing really to counter that, unless if Racial just goes for the aggressive peek. Perfect read from Racial, and Rizraz caught with his pants down, and now Lusty himself will drop downstairs. Racial really worried about, he's not sure if he wants to open up this wall, but Meriu with the Ashe, taking down Virtue. That's one strong frag to another. Still Magnet downstairs as well, gets an injure, and these Valkyrie cameras doing so much for the information, but sprays occurring both directions. A lot of HP lost on both sides. Finally, Magnet secures the kill, and Aces jumps into the fray as well. Magnet to finish it off, and Fnatic finally repair their Vent's defense.
That was a really well-played round by Fnatic, and some of the team play there so good, using that intel. We talked about how we think that Nora Rengo really need to be denying that intel for Fnatic. They need to be bringing in IQ to fund these Valkyrie cans, because they're just giving so much information, allowing Fnatic to play around what Nora Rengo are trying to do, and it's really not working for Nora.
There were some good moments for Nora Rengo, but in those last few, we had plenty of time left on the timer, which is why I was a little bit confused as to why these frags all went so quickly. And again, I hate to be a broken record, but that information is always allowing Fnatic to take opportunities for this aggression, whether it's Magnet wallbanging someone to kill them, which eventually led to 2 kills, or whether it's Aces knowing that he can push out from a certain area and find a cheeky kill and have establish a new kind of presence. So I really think that a priority for Nora Rengo needs to be countering these Valkyrie cameras, because at the moment, Magnet may be at the bottom of the scoreboard, but he's been doing so much work for his team. Yeah,
he really has, and we see Fnatic revisiting this top floor bomb site now. It was a really strong performance for them the first time they held it, so Nora Rengo really have to think about what they need to do differently. Fnatic did bring that Frost again on Rizraz, which did have some effect. It did get one person down, and it facilitated a double C4 kill when the revive was coming out, so it was quite a critical part of how strong that defense was. Nora Rengo gonna have to be really careful here.
That is an excellent point. You know, this Frost can sometimes have a more significant impact than you might realize. If you're only counting the impact of people actually falling into those frost mats, it's not actually the whole story, because of course once someone's in that frost mat, they have to revive them, and that was what leveraged Fnatic the double C4 kill, as you mentioned earlier. Nonetheless, Nora Rengo trying out this next round. Lots of downstairs control as they reattempt an armory push. Didn't work out so well for them on the first time, but I think Meryu on the Ashe, it's a good kind of initiative that he can provide for the team, something that Nora Rengo is definitely in need of.
Yeah, absolutely. And we see Nora Rengo doing more of a vertical push here. They've pushed him below, and they're going to try and hassle the bomb site from below there with that buck. It's going to be interesting how Fnatic decide to adapt to that, whether they try to push someone below to take that operator out, or whether they just try to hold fast upstairs. We do see two roamers still in the security area, and they're just trying to aggressively hold that so that Nora Rengo can't push Armory. Nora Rengo don't look interested in pushing that side. In fact, Rachel is now opening the triple wall into Office, so it will be an Archives push. Fountain looking very sketchy with a lot of holes open. That really nice long angle there from the Kaed behind the mirror in security. So it's not necessarily easier to push the Office. And one has just been spotted dropping down that server hatch. He is not safe, and I believe that is Magnet on the Valkyrie.
He's just waiting at the moment. Nora Rengo know they have to clear him out, and the drone will assist and Papilia to find this information. JJ is really ready, and there you go. Papilia's drone will give that information out, and another drone perfectly timed for JJ to peek, but Lusty steps up with 2 kills. Magnet is finally taken down, but an incredibly strong play from Fnatic. Lusty in particular, he was poised in the perfect position to take advantage of that. Magnet himself, his death, baited out 2 kills for Lusty, and that's perfect.
Yeah, and he played it so well. He played it very patient behind that server rack. And as we say, this Virtue will take out Ramu. That is the Jackal. And another Frostmat Racial. I do believe it was Racial last time, potentially, that went down to the Frostmat. So now it's a lot to Papilia. He's going to have to attempt this revive, or he's going to have to try and take on 4 all by himself. Some really great team plays here from Fnatic, and it will be finished as is. Rizraz getting that Frostmat kill, and a great round from Fnatic.
Every individual position and player from Fnatic did their job perfectly, whether it was Virtue up inside of that security room, peeking down through the hatch to have an impact on downstairs, or Lusty peeking on down through a hatch, having an impact downstairs, or even Magnet just baiting out that position. I think that we really have to commend Fnatic for their use of this vertical play. You know, obviously Nora Rengo wanted to take downstairs so that they could use that vertical play for themselves, but every time that Nora Rengo wanted to enter and every time they thought it was safe, Fnatic had an unexpected angle onto them from above.
And as you say, unexpected, Fnatic are taking the bathroom teller's bomb side.
All right.
Not something I've seen too much out of them, and not something that's usually picked too often. Not usually a map, bomb site that's favored on this map. In fact, some would say it's the least viable bomb site. But we have seen some great holds coming out of this bomb site. You need to be a little bit more aggressive when you hold this. It's a really interesting bomb site because you can take it quite externally, I guess you'd say. You don't have to have as much map control to be able to get a plant down. So really interesting how Fnatic have taken this, and it's going to be great to see how Nora Rengo try to read into that and how they're going to try and take it.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things about this bomb site, right, is, of course, there's a lot of walls external to the bomb site that you can open up and then plant almost as if you're outside. But, of course, the issue there is that there are many positions from inside where the defenders can deny you, can kill you while you are attempting that plant. And so the game becomes, from an attacking perspective, much more about map control. You have to maintain all of the map control for all the positions that could potentially deny you. And that ends up making a lot of these attacks a bit of a blitz, pushing down on and trying to flush out many of these positions. So Fnatic holding inside of that Office, reinforcing that triple wall, that's going to be a key position for them.
And a point to make too is that Ramu has finally switched onto that IQ, so he will start looking for this intel, the Valkyrie cams that have been so devastating for them. And we're going to see Nora Rengo looking to take from the west side across, it looks like. So they're going to try and take as much map control as possible before they start contesting some gunfights. Meryu is over here on the east, though. Potentially might try to start poking onto the bomb site as is. He does open the window with an Ashe charge. And Ramu finds a frag on a Magnet. So that is the Valkyrie taken down nice and early there.
Of course, he'll have to sit on his cameras from here on out, but those could very well be countered by that IQ. Of course, searching for them gradually and taking them down. But as for what's happening inside of the workshop, it's exactly that. IQ using a scanner and attempting to clear some of this utility. But as for the overall map control, we've seen Nora Rengo try to take some of it, but still Fnatic holding firm to officers, which is of course the most key component of this map control for this bomb site. Aces as well has some kind of side presence to prevent Nora Rengo from making a read and to rush site. That said, still this officers will be the point of contention as soon as Nora Rengo can find their way inside, but potentially with the Thermite rotating into Workshop, it might actually be a bathroom-focused attack.
Yeah, it definitely looks like it is a bathroom-focused attack. There is one defender in there at the moment, and he's going to have to leg it out of there because that wall is coming open, and there is not just one, but there's multiple players in that Workshop area. Aces is trapped in that corner now. He's pinged out that call to his teammates that the wall is open. Oh. Virtue with a nice frag onto Papilia. Oh. Papilia with the Claymore, getting the kill from the death. JJ getting onto Virtue. So now it's a 3v2. Lusty upstairs taking it to a 2v2. Racial has been down, so it's just JJ at the moment. Oh, actually, Racial is alive, but very low, and now he is out. It's a 1v2. JJ very low as well. Aces and Lusty both on full damage. Oh! What? JJ unlucky. Aces with a nice frag, and that will be Fnatic taking another round.
They're looking very strong at the moment for these defenses, and as you mentioned, an unpredictable bomb site pick of Tellers is exactly what Fnatic needed. Of course, they had a lot of success on Armory. Events was about a 50-50, but you know, at this point, they really did have to make something different happen. They had to choose either Tellers or Customs, and in this case, Tellers worked out really well. They'll now return to Vents as it is unlocked. Still Armory upstairs, not available just yet. But, you know, we're heading into the final round of the half, and Fnatic have had a very good one so far.
Yeah, they definitely have. And even if they come out of this with a 4-2, it's still a strong lead going into the second half. So Fnatic definitely going to try and secure that 5-1, but Nora need to fight hard. It was a much better attack from them, but they just couldn't quite get that execute down. Fnatic just getting too many picks as it was happening. So Nora really going to have to zone in here. They have attacked this Vents Workshop site before. They do know how Fnatic like to hold it. That strong vertical play from Fnatic. Nora Rengo just needs to figure out how to adapt to that. And Virtue out on 9 frags for Fnatic. He's going really strong here. It's great to see Fnatic being able to trade between Rizraz, Virtue, top frag, and they've got such strong fraggers, and it means that there's not a reliance on one of them to pop off. They can swap it out.
Yeah, because, I mean, at the Invitational, it really was Virtue who was showing up. And then at the 6 Oceanic Cup, he didn't maybe have as much of an impact as, say, Rizraz, who seemed to be the only player awake. And I was a little bit worried at the start of this tournament whether that would continue to be the case. But no, it's fantastic to see Virtue return to form. And overall, Fnatic, as a team, I think we can't discredit the fact that this is really a team game. And Fnatic have been operating just like one. Magnet's information gathering on the Valkyrie cameras has been so very useful, and a lot of the plays that we've had from all of the players on the roster, say Virtue, who's been ranking up the frags, you know, have been in lieu of that information delivered by Magnet.
Yeah, we are seeing Nora Rengo now deciding to push from this east side. They will try and take the top floor from the office archives area. Fnatic still with that strong presence upstairs, and it's definitely not going to be an eas's take for Nora Rengo. Hopefully they can secure an early pick if they can do so. Oh, the run out from Magnet. That's a great time. And he's traded back by Ramu. That's the Jackal getting that frag, but the Ashe is down. A little bit of soft breach utility, but not the worst pick.
Yeah, but that's it on Fnatic's side. You know, that's a C4 already gone down. So unfortunately, that won't be able to be used for the plant, but there's still potentially 2 more C4s available for that late round plant denial if that does come to be what's necessary for Fnatic. But, you know, for the Nora Rengo side, it's just over a minute down, and obviously we've had that initial exchange, but otherwise, you know, not a ton of ground taken for them. Virtue attempts to rotate outside of archives, but it doesn't work out for him. We also saw some of those Valkyrie cameras being disabled by the Nora Rengo players, so suddenly we're seeing a huge amount of work done for Nora Rengo. That said, Lusty's keen to fight back. He's taken low, but he gets 1 frag onto Papilia. JJ wants to also push into archives, but Lusty's retaken that ground.
Yeah, and we're going to see another engagement here. Lusty is low. Shots whiff, but JJ is down. Lusty finishes him off with the shotgun. Nora Rengo not following up on that. We do see Racial push up, and Lusty is pinned in this position. He still has a C4 in hand. So this could be really bad for Nora Rengo if they don't read this very well. We will see the stun come over. The C4 out, but Racial will frag Lusty before it blows up. So it's a 2v2. Both operators on 100 HP for both teams. And 45 seconds to go, so still quite a bit of time to plan out what they're going to do and get this intel onto bomb site. Rizraz playing on site as the Mute and Aces on that Kaed.
That said, the two players from Nora Rengo are well poised, and in fact, those Jackal scans will make the life of the two Fnatic players on site very, very difficult. We can hear those pings coming out, but that said, we've talked about how much the information has made the difference for Fnatic, and potentially some Legion mines also to disrupt this push, but 20 seconds left, and oh no, caught off guard. Ramu somehow still alive. Ace is also whiffing his shots. This is two potential whiffed kills from Fnatic, and it's just a 1 versus 2. The plant's going down, but Nora Rengo have to hold against Aces. He's making a good peek. He could deny the plant, but no, he gets the one. But Rachel closes that out, and Nora Rengo do secure their second round in this series. And in the half, 2 against 4.
A lot of missed shots there right at the end, but Aces tried to play that really well. He almost got that off, but a nice execute from Nora. 4-2 for that half. It's still strong half from Fnatic, and it's going to be really interesting to see how Nora Rengo try to bounce back here in this second half.
The only 2 bomb sites that Nora Rengo did manage to win in that half were onto the Vents attacks, of which they also lost one. So some good adaptations from Fnatic in that mid game. But as we flip over onto the other side, it's our opportunity for Nora Rengo to have a bit of a reset and move on to this defensive side. When we were looking at Consulate, was really the lack of aggression that we thought was an issue for Nora Rengo, and Fnatic didn't have any lack of that at all on their defensive half on border, and I think we really need to see the same thing from Nora Rengo. Now, something we highlighted in the pick ban phase at the very start of the of this map was the fact that Fnatic had banned out that Maestro. And we know Nora Rengo, you know, they love that Maestro. It's something Rachel very comfortable with, and the way that they enable that to let them play aggressively is something that we see potentially, you know, if that's banned out, that could be a big bit of harm for them. And in fact, JJ's instead of, because the Maestro's been banned out, he's now playing with the bulletproof camera, and he's put it in a position inside of Office on that far east side, which I have seen Nora Rengo love to put a Evil Eye there. So substituting that utility somewhat for something else, the next best thing.
Yeah, filling that gap, and they've also got the mirror there, which will be great for a lot of intel. They did 6th pick off of Valkyrie, which I was quite surprised about. I know they like to play their Valkyrie. I would have thought they would have really wanted that detail for the roam, but not to be. We will see Fnatic start to push in from the Valley spawn. Lusty did 6th pick onto this Capital for the smokes. He did initially show a Dockerby, so that's a nice pick. I guess they were trying to bait Nora to potentially bring a Mute instead of one of these other operators, but not to be. Rizraz on the IQ, scanning for this intel. He's not going to find too much outside due to the fact that Nora did not bring the Valkyrie. And it looks like they're going to favor this security push.
Yeah, and I mean, typically what I would have seen from Nora Rengo a lot of times, you know, sometimes we see hard security holds. So with that not the case in this round, Fnatic shouldn't have too much trouble taking security, but of course it'll be moving on to armor that then becomes the difficult piece of work to do. And I mean, Nora Rengo, they've got a lot of the staples, right? They have the Bandit, the Smoke, and the Jaeger, and these kinds of things present obstacles that Fnatic will have to directly counter, you know? If they want to start to plant in the last 30 seconds, the smoke will be a huge pain in the behind. And even just something as simple as opening that external wall, you know, you've got to deal with those Bandit charges first.
Yeah, and quite a steady, careful push coming out of Fnatic here. We've seen almost half the round go. They're only starting to approach the wall now, and it's going to be difficult. There's a mirror facing that position, so Nora very aware of what's happening at the wall. There are still Bandit charges on that wall also, and knowing Nora Rengo, they're potentially ready to play this quite aggressively if they have to. Ramu pre-firing through the bullet tracers, tagging Riz up. Riz has been tagged for almost half HP now, Ramu untouched. A ballsy move, and it looks like Nora are going to try and play with a bit more aggression than they have been recently. Riz holding a nice angle through that wall though, almost pre-fired again. So, a really interesting start to this round. Fnatic are going to have to really ramp it up here if they're going to get this wall open, and here we go. They're going for the execute on the wall, so the wall will go open.
It's a good read there from Fnatic and a good method to deal with those Bandit batteries. It did take both of the grenades to guarantee that there would be no Bandit trick there, but at least it required not going below to take out those Bandit batteries with the IQ scanner.
Yeah, and we see all of Nora Rengo's members on the top floor there. It doesn't look like anybody is going to drop for a C4 where potentially the mirror could do so, but it looks like they're opting to stay on side. And with this Capital using some utility now, we might start to expect to see a potential plant coming out of Fnatic. That Firebolt trying to cut the defenders away from pushing where you would potentially plant normally. We do see the mirror on side as Mario gets a pick onto Virtue. That's the Zofia utility unable to be used for this execute. Magnet has dropped below just to make sure the C4 doesn't happen. That's Meryu shot out now. It's a 4v4 for this execute. Aces onto Ramu. JJ will pick the breach. He finds the Thermite. That's the fuser down with 7 seconds to go. Fnatic push in 1v3, 1v2 now. 3 seconds. They need to get the plant down. The timer expires and the plant is happening. It's right next to where he's looking.
No!
He's so close, but he's missing his shots, and now he's just going to have to push up.
That's so unfortunate for Rachel. He thought he had a perfect opportunity to deny that plan. He had the shotgun and everything he needed, but bust the intel. No Maestro camera to call out that position, and just because of that, he's unable to retake this. Moving in through the Firebolt, and he'll be caught out. Fnatic moving very comfortably into this first attacking half on 5 rounds to 2.
Yeah, and it was a really good play there from Nora Rengo. They were really close. Rachel so close to that denial. He was just shooting right next to the person actually getting the plant down. Fnatic doing well to get the frags they needed so they could rush in for that plant. It was so close. Only with 1 second to go, they actually got Kit down. So definitely not a solid round, but definitely close. And Nora are going to take a timeout here just so they can talk about it and gather themselves, because they are down 3 rounds now, Devin. Fnatic are actually only 1 round away from match point.
And I think it's not a lot of the little mistakes. But on top of that, Fnatic, I mean, from the ban phase, you know, getting rid of that Maestro, I really think we have to just point out how much that could have affected that push. I mean, speaking about the potential for that late round, you know, denying that plant through the floor, I think that was definitely what I was expecting to see Rachel do. But very strangely, he actually didn't have the information that was required to make that happen. Often we do see the information there for Nora Rengo on the bomb site in those scenarios, but no, Maestro's banned, Echo's banned, so it would have had to be just a deployable camera or a Valkyrie. They didn't bring the Valkyrie, so I don't think they had a bulletproof camera in that room. It really seemed to be lacking from me, so it looks like a great read from Fnatic on that ban, and unfortunately for Nora Rengo, just no way of dealing with that. They hadn't thought about it, and they hadn't presented something to compensate for that.
That's right. They did choose to bring that bulletproof camera, but they used it over in the office area, so that armory left generally unmonitored. We are getting back into it now, and we see Nora Rengo taking the top floor again. JJ choosing the Valkyrie for that intel. Will he stick it, though? That's the question. He 6-picked last time. Yeah,
and he hasn't locked it in yet. Okay, so that's a bit unfortunate, really. I mean, I'm not saying that the Valkyrie is guaranteed to have much of an impact, because of course we do have the IQ on the opposite side of the board. But the real thing for me is just the fact that when we were looking at Fnatic's defenses, there was always information and it looked so strong. Nora Rengo could never do anything without Fnatic knowing about it, and it's really the opposite that's happening here. Continually on attack now, Fnatic have all the information and Nora Rengo don't. So when it comes to clutch situations, Nora Rengo are really never going to have the teeth that they need.
Yeah, and actually we just saw the scoreboard initially, and one interesting thing you could read into with the frags, it's always not necessarily a good thing to read into the frags, but with Rachel there top fragging on 6, that's really showing that the support players are under a lot of pressure and they're having to frag out. It's unsuccessful roaming and unsuccessful entry fragging on the attack. It really shows that when you've got that support player top fragging, not always the case, but it can definitely indicate that that's the struggles that team is having.
And that's true, and it really makes me wonder, you know, over in the Nora Rengo camp, what is the feeling like? You know, we know this team to be incredibly, you know, ecstatic, incredibly, you know, extravagant in the way that they move, the way that they play their game with, you know, extreme fervor, and I'm not seeing that right now from Nora Rengo.
Yeah, and they've decided to play a lot more aggressively here in security. They've got 2 people in the security room to try and deny the entry there. It's Papilia and JJ on the dock, just trying to get a cheeky peek out, but there's nobody there for him at the moment. He won't be detected. They're going to really try and force Fnatic to either take these gunfights or rotate. Lusty is over on the east stairs, just making sure that he can cut the rotates through the hallway. JJ very keen to get the peek, and he finally gets that Claymore, so now he can jump out that window if he wishes. He is droned out. Mario, nice pick onto Lusty on the east stairs. Yeah,
Mario often does some good work inside of offices, and he also is able to bound to trick that triple wall if needed, but JJ's the first one to fall. Papilia trying to hold on inside of the security room, but no, Fnatic are doing exactly what they need to. Even the attempted refrags aren't enough for Nora Rengo, and they're losing players on the dime. It's just Ramu left here, the mirror player against 4, and this really isn't a great position for him. He can take down aces, but he's been taken so low himself, and there are 3 players against him. They may drone him out. In fact, I believe they've done so. It's holding a long angle, and Rizraz closed him out. Fnatic are staring down match point, series point, APAC Pro League point.
Fnatic are just playing absolutely elevated siege here, and I have to say it's got to come down to the intel and comms game. The amount of wallbangs that we've seen based on the intel, like this one from Aces, that's got to be a comms call based on a drone, so that's really nice team play there from Fnatic, really, really well executed.
I completely agree with you, and it harks back to what we were talking about in the semi-final. When I was having the chat to Dizzle before the matches just this morning, he said, look, we know Airwolf are really good. We know that they can play any map. They know we can play any map. So what it's really going to come down to is the fundamentals of this game, the communication and the team play. And that's exactly what Fnatic had over Airwolf in that matchup, and it's exactly what Fnatic have over Nora Rengo in this matchup.
Yep, and Nora Rengo are going to try this top floor bomb site again for the 3rd time in a row. They are going to play a pulse this time, so perhaps an aggressive roam downstairs instead of security.
Look at some kind of information, and that should surely help out, but I think that this may well be too little too late. Fnatic look like they could well be looking to streak on through this.
Nora Rengo not adapting too much to the actual setup. It looks like they are going to reinforce off this fountain and open up a similar line of sights here. It'll be interesting where Ramu will initially play or whether he will drop down later on. Fnatic do have the IQ, so any kind of utility will be spotted out there. And I don't believe Fnatic are really going to change too much with their push. I think everything's working really well, and yeah, why would they change it?
Yeah, I agree. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's what I think the mentality is for Fnatic right now. We haven't had a tactical pause for quite some time, and I think Fnatic are just riding on this momentum of continually playing rounds. They just really in the zone at the moment when it comes to these communications and the setup of this information. They know what they got to do, and they'll do it. Whereas for Nora Rengo, there's always that lick of doubt in their minds. They don't have enough information. They don't have that maestro able to assist them, and so they're relying here in this particular round. It's just the mirror windows and the pulse. And mirror windows only give you information while you're actively using them, and I guess you could say the same for the pulse scanner as well. It prevents someone from actually being actively used. Magnet with a blind grenade, but I guess you could say that there's not too much utility wasted by that one, and it was worth the gamble anyhow.
Yeah, and Ramu is actually playing on site at this stage, so not playing for the C4 denial early. He is going to get the intel on that person rappelling up, and Fnatic do have players below just to prevent that kind of vertical roam. Rizraz just misses out on getting a frag into security. He might potentially like to hold this angle and see if he can get that pick. Fnatic really fanning out here both vertically and horizontally. They haven't really zoned in on anything yet, but it does look like they're still favoring to push this armory side. Ace is having a bit of trouble on rappel there. He has tagged JJ low, but Papilia will take out Lusty again. That is the first pick onto Lusty, so the Capital utility not able to be used. And
I really think Capital utility is one of the most vital on this bomb site. The smokes and denying area denial as well is very useful, but the frags going the way of Fnatic for now. Virtue very worried about this peak, and Papilia finds his second for the round. Looking for a third, but he doesn't find it, at least not just yet. Rizraz, though, is the one to watch out for on Fnatic as he rushes up the east stairs. He's got a mirror to contest with, but it looks like he's not sure exactly where he wants to push at the moment. I think that this hard hold inside of security for Nora Rengo is working so well, and Fnatic no longer comfortable pushing that area. They'll have to go for offices and archives instead, of which there's just so much utility stacked inside.
Yeah, they definitely have fully rotated here. We see Rizraz over on the office window, and we saw one taking the AC position. Muriu is holding a really nice prone secret angle there in the office, and this could be grim, but Ace is already going for the plant. It's a quick plant. The smoke is on him, and it will take him out. Racial actually finishing the kill. Rizraz with the frag and Papilia, so it is a 2v2. Magnet getting tagged by that smoke. He is just under half health. Rizraz, he sees the smoke. He has the smoke out. 1v2 for the win here. Can Fnatic secure it? 30 seconds to go. One defender remaining. It is JJ on the mirror. Diffuser is in the doorway, so they can...
Oh my god!
It's a nice C4 out of JJ. 1v1, 20 seconds to go. Diffuser is not in the hands of the attacker here, so it's going to be a frag to win. And JJ, he saves it for Nora Rengo, and they're still in the game.
But it's getting so very close, isn't it? And they have so many more rounds they have to reply. It's been quite a while since we saw one strike in the Nora Rengo column, but finally they get back into this match.
Yeah, that they do, and it's off the back of an excellent clutch from JJ. Fnatic did really well to swing that back in their favor. That rotate was really well executed, and Aces went for the nice, quick, confident plan. He really trusted his teammates to hold his angles, and he was really close to getting it down. Just unfortunate that the smoke got to him in the end. Props to JJ, though. That clutch was insane, the C4, and then the initial or the final frag. We will see Nora Rengo take on the Vents Workshop bomb site now, and at the moment they have a Valkyrie picked. It's being sixth onto the Pulse. They also have a Castle this time.
Yeah, well, I suppose that we've only seen them defending that armory.
That's true.
And now that they head downstairs, they will do what many teams do and bring that castle. But, you know, when Fnatic were defending these vents rooms, that was the only bomb site that on attack Nora Rengo actually managed to steal. But they didn't manage to steal it consistently every single time anyhow. So, as Nora Rengo shift onto their defensive here, I think that they're still severely on the back foot. And Fnatic, at the fundamentals, you know, they have them nailed down. Nora Rengo starting to work a little bit better, and I think that that level of aggression running outside and maybe some of that information game alongside it is working a little bit better. But I really feel like, you know, when Fnatic were playing aggressive on their defensive half, and it was just working out so well, they were racking up 2Ks, 3Ks, runouts, and aggressive peaks. Always I could see, okay, Fnatic had this piece of information, whereas just that last round, you know, Papilia's aggressive peaks, I think it was information that he was gaining from face checking, and that is just very risky. It might work now, but it doesn't always work. And you know, you have to win 3 more rounds to send us into overtime. If you're applying a strategy that doesn't work 100% of the time, or at least is, you know, relies on chance, then I really think that you'll have to let this one slip.
Yeah, we will see Fnatic split pushing this at the moment. It looks like they're going to opt to take the office archives. They do need to take top floor control if they wish to take the bomb site a bit more comfortably. They are going to face a bit of utility on site though with that castle. It looks like the castles will potentially placed mostly downstairs, and probably one in the archives just to slow them down a bit. Virtue will take security for free at the moment. And oh, a nice pick from Rizraz, and Papilia caught sleeping on that angle. He almost gets the second in Fountain, but he'll cross into archives. And a really early engagement there, not really expected at all from Nora. Rizraz will drone here, but that is spotted by the Jaeger and shot straight away. Ramu below getting a lot of intel on this Pulse. He knows that Virtue is by himself in security at this stage, but he's not going to try to do too much about it. Meryu will take out Rizraz now, so that's the IQ out quite early there.
Yeah, and Meryu still has this position inside of Fountain. Ramu as well, catching a defender downstairs, but he doesn't want to waste this C4 if the player's going to move around. In fact, he decides to take the gamble, but he could potentially find 2 here. He spots out that one player, but his C4 will find this kill, surely, and Virtue goes down, but I believe that also opens the hatch, which means that Fnatic now have more angles downstairs onto the Nora Rengo players. This looks like it could be the start of a comeback. Nora Rengo have found 2 early picks, and Fnatic have lost 2 of their best fraggers.
Yeah, really strong start to this round from Nora Rengo, and they've only lost Papilia at this stage, which is the Jaeger, so it's not going to play out too much late round. Just see Fnatic here over on the Armory side. They're potentially trying to push it from this side while Magnet pokes the office. He's trying to throw a frag grenade into the Fountain, but no one is there, so there's not really going to find much. He will open this castle with the other. He's almost shot through the floor, potentially by Ramu. And Fnatic really a bit stuck here. They're not able to get an effective push upstairs, and it's going to really hinder them even able to execute.
Okay.
Aces will get this wall open. Nice team play there from Magnet with the final frag grenade left to their availability. The wall is now open, and we will see Nora Rengo start to push back a bit. We still see 2 remaining upstairs, and that means that there will be 2 on the bomb site downstairs.
That said, we have Nora Rengo players still in aggressive positions. I believe there was one inside of the desk room, but that position spotted by Aces, that small punch hole revealed. But look at how much time there is on the clock. It's 25 seconds left, and Fnatic really need to get a move on. They do find the kill onto Meryu, but they still have a numbers disadvantage with Lusty on the floor. Just Magnet and Aces, and this is not the bomb site, ladies and gentlemen. They'll have to go downstairs. Oh, that's a very late revive, a huge risk for Fnatic. And what are you doing, Magnet? You can't leverage this vertical play. He just wants to cut off this rotation, but there's still already a player in the bomb site. Just Magnet, the last one left, and he was relying on that gamble to cut off that rotation. It just wasn't enough for his team.
Another great round from Nora Rengo, and as you said, is the comeback on? That's 6-4 now, I do believe, so it's getting closer and closer. Fnatic just going to want to secure this out, but Nora Rengo has something else to say about that. So we'll move on to the next bomb side, and actually Fnatic decided to take a timeout here. They really want to stunt this momentum. They want to close it out now.
Yeah, of course, Nora Rengo will have to take it to overtime if they want to win this. There's no more 7-5 for them. That's already off the cards. Dizzle having a real talking to for his team. We have a bit of Nora Rengo chanting as well, and in the Nora Rengo camp, in fact, a lot of smiles. Kazoku very happy with himself, but you know, on the other side of the ring, we have the Fnatic guys, and you can see Dizzle's taking all of his notes during these matches, and he's just listing off one by one, what do this team need to do to make these adaptations, make these improvements?
Yeah, and we've seen today that these timeouts have worked really effectively for both teams, especially Fnatic. They took some really strong timeouts against Airwolf that really got them back into the game and through that game to get the victory in the end. So I'm sure they're going to be really happy they had this timeout so they can stunt the momentum, refocus, talk to each other and make sure that they're ready to take on this next round against Nora Rengo so that they can close it out and that they're not going to go to overtime. It's definitely not something they want to do here. We are continuing now with Nora Rengo on defense. They are taking the Customs bomb site, which is the more standard third tertiary bomb site for teams to take on border. A good lineup here with the Pulse, Mirror. I like those picks. The Mirror with the Intel and the Pulse, again, worked really well for Ramu in that last round, so I like that they've stuck those. Fnatic here, nothing too special. They just bring a pretty standard lineup. It's a very flexible lineup, and they can get a lot done with that.
Yeah, the one thing I think that Fnatic may well be missing is smokes, which, you know, not essential all the time, but I always like to have them as an option, especially when there is a mirror in tow, because you don't really have any counters to these mirror windows. You'll have to, in fact, none of these operators really can counter the mirror windows. You'll actually have to directly take them out with your rifle from the inside, which, you know, can be difficult to find that angle sometimes. Nonetheless, I digress. Nora Rengo on this defense, as you mentioned, it's Customs, and I think what really needs to work for them this time is the roam game. We have to see that. Papilia has been doing a pretty good job. You know, sometimes he gets picked first, but we need to see Nora Rengo on their roam game. We need to see them defend successfully the security room. They got the mirror to do that, and no doubt they'll hopefully extend their hold also over towards the armory side. I think that it really is going to be a priority for Nora Rengo, because otherwise Fnatic can simply take from Archives, take control of armory, and then they'll have, you know, a very strong crossfire into a lot of positions inside of security. It won't be too difficult for them to take control of above the bomb site.
Yeah, and we see some early entries here from Fnatic. They're making a lot of progress quickly, which is nice to see. They're going to drone very thoroughly across this top four, make sure they know exactly where these defenders are playing. They do find the Pulse playing in Fountain, but he is going to rotate out of there as he is droned. He is now into the armory position, I do believe, and we still have the two in security, so a lot of vertical presence here from Nora Rengo. Fnatic will have to be careful that they get this correct intel and they don't push into a trap here. But look at this aggression from Rizraz. He's pushed up very comfortably into Archives, holding a nice angle into Armory. He's going to find two, but not actually hit any of them. Unlucky there from Rizraz, missing his shots. An opportunity missed.
Papilia as well, attempting to cover that cross through metal, but doesn't look to be the case. JJ himself droned out on the stairs, but no retreat back to the bomb side as well. We've seen that is a common theme for Nora Rengo. All that pressure inside of Armory resulted in a default away from the top floor, and that's in fact what we're also seeing upstairs inside of inside of CCTV. Now all the players resorting down to the bomb side of Customs, but how much information economy has been drained by Nora Rengo, because we've seen a lot of drones go out by Fnatic and a lot of them be taken out. They need to keep continuing this flow of constant communication and information being gathered on this bomb site, and Magnet doing a very good job to take out the smoke player himself of Racial.
Yeah, that's a really good pick, because now that is some delay that Nora can't use. And Ramu has now been picked off by Virtue. That is the Pulse with a C4 in his pocket. Now not going to make a play with a minute to go. Fnatic 5v3 man advantage. They still need to try and get some kind of execute ready, but they have a lot of time here and they have control above. Papilia, Miru, and JJ all relatively separate at the moment. So really, really favoring Fnatic's positioning here. Aces has opened that detention wall, so that's another difficult position. No. Papilia has not been spotted. He's just going to hold a nice patient angle there. He could potentially run out and get that Thermite before he enters Passport. It looks like the Thermite will go around and try and open that Customs wall. Papilia potentially too late here. There are still two outside that doorway. They're crouched and he can't quite see them. It's quite unfortunate here. 20 seconds to go. Fnatic stalled a little bit, so they're going to have to start making some more aggressive moves onto side here. Aces is on side, in fact, and is planting. JJ, a nice shot onto Rizraz, but this plant looks like it will go down. Nora Rengo going to have to get this retake. It is at the customs wall that has been breached open by the Thermite. Papilia does get one on the run out, but Lusty tries straight back. Virtue again, Mary by himself here. Fnatic searching for match point for seed 1 of APAC here. Can he get it? And he does secure it as the first seed going to Fnatic, and GG, well played.
Fnatic destroy Nora Rengo in a 2-0 fashion. First map Consulate and then over onto Border. It looked like maybe Nora Rengo had a breath of fresh air to return themselves into the game. But no, Fnatic are the champions of the APAC Pro League.
It won't be the 2-0 in a row for Nora Rengo. Certainly is a dish of revenge served there by Fnatic as they make it Season 7 and now Season 9. They're the champions. Nora Rengo still making Season 8 and again making the finals 3 times in a row. Very, very successful seasons from Nora Rengo. But of course, it's Fnatic's moment here, managing to take that first seed. And a phenomenal performance from them as well, considering, again, it was the most recent time that we saw between these two teams facing each other. Nora Rengo were the ones that quite consistently and comfortably actually beat Fnatic.
Yeah, that's right. And I think they've really showed that they are, again, the strongest team at this APAC finals. And it was quite good to see some of the team plays that they managed to pull together. They really are in form. Their confidence quite astounding. And the team plays they executed was so good. Like the comms, the intel was clearly in their favor.
In terms of fundamentals, Fnatic are definitely the best team in APAC. In terms of fundamentals, I think Fnatic are one of the best teams in the world, but we don't always see that from them. Today we did, and that's why they've beaten Nora Rengo in such a convincing fashion.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but that is also the first win at a LAN event that Virtue's got with Fnatic as well.
Well, no, he's had a couple of wins at the Invitational, but in terms of APAC LAN events,
I mean, it's a grand finals win.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. This is the first time he's really tasted that victory of the LAN.
Yeah, so that's obviously a big deal for Fnatic as well. Maybe getting that little monkey off their back. Not necessarily saying that it was to begin with, but always nice to get these things done and dusted. And for Fnatic, I mean, I guess in a sense it's kind of making amends in a way for having lost the Six Oceanic Cup.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think it's ever good losing. They wouldn't have been too happy with that loss, but it set them up for a really strong position coming into this APAC LAN, perhaps a little less pressure, and they came in confidently. They've played confidently the whole weekend, and today I'd say the most confident I've seen them in quite a while.
Yeah, and that's the real disher here. I think we've had a common theme this weekend of the team that really has that confidence and takes those risks is often rewarded. We saw Cloud9 lack that. We saw, even in this match, Nora Rengo lack that. But Fnatic have had it through and through.
We had really quite a few assumptions coming into this that it could come down to which Fnatic does actually turn up on the day. And it most certainly seems as though today the best foot was placed forward by Fnatic. And this is exactly the kind of Fnatic that we want to see when they go to Milan.
Yeah, if they can replicate this overseas, I definitely think they can go far yet again. It's all about training in that consistency. They have been boot camping quite a lot, and I think that's definitely bred a lot of consistency in this lineup that they've been bringing. So I'm really excited to see how they do show up in Milan, and they also secure themselves that major position so they can perform at the major as well.
Yeah, we have seen Fnatic beat some of the best teams in the world, the best teams out of North America, Reciprocity and EG. We've seen them beat FaZe, obviously, in the past as well, but we've also seen them fall in some occasions. So I think it's great to see that finally, you know, Fnatic are really cementing themselves back up in the APAC Pro League. They've showed us their A game, and they're going to take that overseas. I
mean, that's really raised the bar as well, I think, within the APAC region, and that then throws the gauntlet down to the rest of the teams. You know, again, we talked a lot about Zave. We talked extensively about Cloud9, who didn't perform at all at this event. And those kinds of teams, even Aerowolf as well, deserve to be thrown in the mix to come into next season and really start putting in the pedal to the metal, essentially, because it's been Nora Rengo and Fnatic for 3 years, or 3 seasons, I should say, in a row. I mean, who is going to be able to challenge them at this point?
That's a really good point, Jordan, but in their regions, it's been really close. They actually, both of them almost were at a point really close to the end of the season almost not making it. So it is close within their sub-regions, but when they come to LAN, boy, are they just showing up. And I think that's where it's the real difference here, is that some of these other APAC teams need to start showing up stronger on LAN and getting those results.
I think we have had some really notable performances, though. The fact that Aerowolf had such a terrible season and then came and took a map off Fnatic, that's nothing to take away from them. And we've seen other APAC teams continually get better. C9 this time around, a bit of jitters, but I think they'll certainly, step it up. And I can certainly see, moving forward, some very, very competitive APAC finals.
Well, enough about all of the other teams. The teams that we want to focus on, of course, are Nora Rengo and Fnatic for now. So we're going to go head down to the stage. It's Danny with the awards ceremony.
Thank you very much, Jordan. And of course, Magnet, for the last time. I feel like I've spoken to you a lot this weekend. Tribute to your performance, but #1 seed in APAC, what does this mean to you?
Well, it's been a year since we've joined Fnatic, and I think we all agree that this would be a wonderful sort of anniversary present to give them. So #1 seed APAC finals just feels really good.
Absolutely, definitely deserved. I'm going to walk across stage here now to you, Kazoku. A bit more of a serious question, real deal. Gracious in defeat against Fnatic, but do they get an invite to your sushi party tonight?
Yes, of course.
Of course. Okay, there you have it, guys. Your champions of the APAC region, Nora Rengo and Fnatic.
Well, it's been a very exciting weekend across the board, and I think it is quite evident that these are the two teams that are most deserving to make it through to the season finals, make it through to Milan, as you guys have spoken about extensively over the weekend. But you have to continue to look forward to the Season 10 Pro League and whatever is in the future for these two teams. How are we expecting Fnatic and Nora Rengo to potentially make their way through the brackets in Milan?
Look, I think they've definitely got a strong chance. They've shown they can compete against some of these top teams globally, as Dev was saying before. They've beaten some really notable teams, so it's going to be really interesting to see how the brackets formed and who they will have in those quarterfinals. But they definitely both have really, really strong chances to make the semis, that's for sure.
That's exactly right, and I mean, it's been several times now. Every time we see them revisit a global finals event, they really step up the pace, and I think that we'll continue to see that out of Nora Rengo and out of Fnatic for years to come.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, did you guys see anything? I guess, again, these are the top two teams in the region. That's fair to say. They've been the best. They've won everything. But was there anything that you think they need to work on heading into some of these international events?
Probably just a bit of more consistency, especially with Nora Rengo. They were a little bit inconsistent with the way they played today, but I think if they can get on top of that and play a bit more confidently, they always play so much better when they're really loud and energetic, and it was noticeable when they were quiet. It's just when they were doing really bad. So if they can get back on top of that, that would be good. Yeah,
absolutely. Let's go back, take a step back here and have a look at the brackets for this weekend. It has, of course, been a pretty good one. I mean, Nora Rengo, they went undefeated until they faced Fnatic. I think Fnatic's run actually into the final was a little more difficult than Nora Rengo's. They did get the 2-0 over CAG, but with that said, that matchup was actually 7-5, 7-5. And then they also dropped a map to Aerowolf. So Fnatic have definitely been tested on their way to the finals.
Absolutely. It was a grueling process for them. Cyclops, I think that they knew going into that match it would be difficult, and they did the homework, and that's how they managed to come out on top in a 2-0. But as you said, the maps themselves were close. Now, moving on to Aerowolf, I don't know if Fnatic had actually expected to be facing them in the semi-finals, but that was the case. And despite some strong performances on map 1, Aerowolf absolutely tested them on map 2 and all the way onto the 3rd. So Fnatic have had a difficult time to get to the finals, but they were certainly ahead the whole way.
Yeah, absolutely. Fnatic, the deserved winners here at the APAC finals. But unfortunately, guys, with the grand final now being done, that's all from us here in APAC. We hope you guys have enjoyed everything over the weekend. And of course, we'll be back for Season 10 and beyond. We'll see you then.